What's going on YouTube? This is Broman Clash, and tonight I want to talk about a topic that revolves around this month, particularly February. And it's a topic that not many black people either know about or few black people understand. And that is the topic of Black History Month and why is it very important to understand why Black History Month is needed. See, look, say if you grew up in a way or in a country or in a way of life that glorifies the ruler's way, the ruler's way, and not knowing much about who you are or who your people or their contributions were to society, then it becomes more important to know why a month is very important, or at least a sense of self is very important. That's why his story, is oftentimes written by the victor, while the mystery or my story is written by us, or those who didn't have the chance to speak. But what does all of this have to do with Black History Month? Well, first off, we have to deal with the origins of Black History Month. And the origins of Black History Month started with one doctor by the name of Carter G. Woodson. Originally Black History Month was not even going to be a month. It was actually going to be a week. It was going to be called Negro History Week. Then it was just like, wow. So originally we weren't even going to have a month for ourselves. We were going to just have 1 week out of a month. Yeah, isn't that something? And then, some people, especially nowadays, they don't even want Black History Month to be acknowledged or even looked at as, just significant. So it's just like, wow, really? You don't even want to look at Black History Month as legitimate, but yet you want to contribute off of black inventions, black lives. Well, you don't. Well, America never really cared about black lives. It's the black votes, even though you don't really care about our lives. So why does our vote matter? Our money. But yet, for some odd reason, when the people don't even have a sense of self or who they are, they end up feeling lost, or they feel irrelevant. And then I mentioned about Carter G. Woodson and the origins of why it was originally going to be just a week, not a whole month. Some say, well, I remember learning this before, that Black History Month was started because of Langston Hughes and what was going on with Abraham Lincoln. But, the Langston Hughes part is. I'm a bit skeptical about the Langston Hughes part and the Abraham Lincoln part. But the fact that it was originally started as a way for us to remember who we were or who we are and who we continue to be as a people, that's where Black History Month is looked at as like, wow, really, we made significant contributions. Like Garrett Morgan with the gas mask, Sarah Boone with the comb, Charles Drew with blood transfusion, with blood, and helping out with the blood bank. We did a lot. We did a lot. Matter of fact, we did a significant amount of good. And Louis Vladimir with the light filament, thus making the light bulb, light in the dark a bit. And it's just like, wow, man. Like, and schools are not willing to teach us that we did great. Like, how come we never known about this? Garrett Morgan inventing the gas mask. That's pretty important. And Benjamin Banneker with the almanac, basically helping us out either with astrology or basically numbers. And it's just like, wow, man. Harriet Tubman with the Underground Railroad, Nat Turner's rebellions, Marcus Garvey, Overture El Toussaint, Granny Nanny, basically various black heroes, heroines, basically overall just people who were of African descent who did so much great for the people. It's just like, wow, how come we never known about this? And that's why Black History Month was created, so we would know about this, so we could understand to love ourselves and be ourselves. But the thing is the fact that do not let 1 month define a people. Do not let February define Black History, because Black History, don't get me wrong, while Black History Month is beautiful, but we struggle 365 days or 366 days if you count leap year every year. And that struggle will not stop. And that will still go on. So then, by us having a month to ourselves and actually understanding that, hey, Black history is very important because we did contribute to society, it also stems from the fact that, like, wait a minute, like I mentioned before, you need to also have a basis of who you are. And when the people don't know who they are, they end up repeating the very same things that destroyed them in the first place. So then, how could a people, basically say, oh, I come from a proud line of kings and queens, but yet here you are out in the streets killing each other. You don't even know how to forgive each other. You don't even know how to sit down and have a civil conversation and just say, like, look, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and honestly, we just need to come together and just say, yo, we love each other. Black history is more than just a month. It's more than just like the shortest month out of the whole year, especially when you're young and black and you're being bombarded by learning about white contributions, white history, throughout, like, and it's funny too, because I remember when I was in college, I remember seeing a poster in October, and it said October is White History Month, and I was just like, wow. And a lot of people would say, like, oh, how come there's no White History Month? I'm like, I got one question. Do you really need a White History Month to teach us about your contributions? After all, you've been pounding it into our heads as if, like, yo, this is what we need to do ever since we were young. And we get a month to ourselves. And March is Women's History Month, where we know about, women's contributions and what they've done. And not only that, by understanding and by knowing who we are and understanding what makes us great, that also shows that we can plant the seeds for the future. And when I mean about planting seeds, I mean, basically helping the youth grow, because I'm also a youth too. Well, now in a few more years I'm not. But that also helps them, teach them, like, hey, look, this is what's going on, this is what you need to do. And if they don't have a sense of a good foundation, then guess what happens? They become lost, or they just feel as if, like, we're irrelevant. We don't have, what's the point? My white compatriots, my Asian compatriots, my Hispanic compatriots, or my Asian compatriots, or Native American or indigenous persons compatriots, they have a sense of history for themselves, while we don't have anything. What's up with that? So it gives us a sense of, like, yes, this is what we need to do. And not only that, when you deal with history, you also got to deal with people. I know, obvious, right? History dealing with people. But yet, what I mean by that, I mean literally, like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not talking about an individual. There were also other people who helped make that individual. If you notice, one great man either has a great army or a great people or a great council behind him, excluding Julius Caesar, because you know what happened to him. Yup. So you gotta watch out for any Brutus going around here. But at the same time, when it comes right down to it, when you know who you are and you understand the importance, like Betsy Coleman being the first black female pilot to actually fly the plane, and oh, did I say Betsy Coleman? Yeah, Betsy Coleman. That was the first black female pilot, and then having 4 black women in NASA, and then you have Bessie Jameson, also being the first black female astronomer. You gotta remember, there were a lot of firsts for us too. That becomes very important. And without black history, or like a sense of self, we don't even know who we are or who we were meant to be. Don't you find that quite funny? how black history actually helps a group of people remember who they are and what makes them them. That's beautiful. And yet there are people who will say like, oh man, why do we need black history for? Like, let's just erase black history out of the textbooks. Let's not talk about black history. And Donald Trump, this idiot right here, he wants to talk about, oh, black history, black history. Who cares about it? Oh yeah, Black History Month. Yeah, it should be called President's Month or some shit like that. Who cares? I'm like, really? Say if the roles were reversed. Say if white people were the oppressed ones. Not this quote unquote pseudo oppression that they're going through right now. I mean, say if they were enslaved for 300 years and black folks were the ones that told them what to do, were the ones that told them that they had no history, were the ones that actually took their credit when they invented something and took the credit and say like, you ain't got no history. We took your language, we took your land, we gave you our way of life. And then you have a month to yourself because you fought for it, or somebody said, you know what? We were great inventors. People need to know about this. And it originally started out as a week. Then my question on to you is this. How would you feel then? And then that week evolved into a month. Yeah, and let's not forget, Holy Roman Emperors, Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar, they had 2 months for themselves, while Black history celebrates black life. You got 2 months celebrating 2 individuals, while you want to complain about 1 month that celebrates a whole diverse group of people. Let's keep it real. Julius and Augustus, you can determine which months were named after them. And not only that, black history is very important, especially to black youth. And like I mentioned before, we struggle throughout. Don't even care if it was on Black History Month, Negro History Week, or if it was on the 4th of July, we were still slaves and we were still fighting. So truth be told, you understand what I'm talking about, right? So we still fought every single day. And the fight is still going on. Because apparently, in the quote-unquote nation of freedom, land of the brave, home of the free, people still have to fight for the right to live. And you may ask, how does this tie into black history? Think about it. In black history, we had to fight for our right to live as well. Black history is very important, and without it, who would we be, and would we still respect us? Would we still respect ourselves? And for those who say we don't need black history, let me tell you something. We don't need white history. We don't need Asian history. We don't need indigenous people history. We don't need women's history. We don't need history of people who contributed to the world. Because black history encompasses the world as well. And if you erase black history, you basically erase a part of the world, man. And that becomes really sad. How could you erase a part of something that made up the world? Seems illogical, right? Exactly my point. So then, like I mentioned before, always remember, black history is very important. And for those who don't understand why, there were people who died and fought just to make sure this month came to be. And it started by one man, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Do not let his legacy go. And for some white people who say we don't need Black History Month, here's the thing. If you say that, make sure in the history books you put in our contributions as well. Because if you just whitewash or try to make our history either irrelevant or obsolete, then it shows that really that means your history is supreme. Then we end up repeating the very same thing, and thus the earth is going to be pretty much screwed like it already is now. And without a diverse history, would we come together? And without black history, would my people come together? And with that, YouTube, this is Broman Class signing out one at one, saying Happy Black History Month. Love every single one of y'all. It's good to be back. Hope you have a good one. Later.